Hello and welcome to Gleeblorp's Zib Zab. I'm your host, Gleeblorp, and always with me is my co-host, Zib Zab, the Relentless. What's up, Zib Zab? How you doing?
I'm doing great today. I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to doing a show all week.
Oh yeah, that's what and for us on Pluto, a week is 30 years. So easiest podcasting job in the whole freaking nebula, because we don't have to do one that often. Okay. Okay, so there's this thing in Hollywood that happens. Hollywood, I guess it's more TV production, where when you count down, you usually count down from 5, and they go in 5, 4, and then instead of saying 3, 2, 1, you put up 3 fingers, you put up 2 fingers, and then you put up 1 finger, and then on the 0 you just point at the screen. And I'm on a delay, so I don't know the actual time metrics or how Kevin saw it, but the thing ended, the Screaming Cowboy bit ended, and I started counting down like that with my fingers, 3, 2, 1. And right as I pointed, that's right exactly for me when the theme song started. And I was so excited about that. I was really happy. Was that intentional, or was that just a coincidence? Let us into the process, Kevin.
I mean, that's roughly what I'm aiming for, but your timing was just impeccable, I think. I'm going to credit you for that, not me.
All right. Well, we've done it again. That's our show, folks. Thanks for stopping by. That's what we say at the end of the show, right? Thanks for stopping by.
I think so. Yeah. Every week, that's exactly what you say.
Should we have... I don't know. I have this urge, apparently, to fill the entire show with musical stings and cues, because, then we don't actually have to talk. But what if... I was just thinking that, what if we had, like, kind of SNL music... the end kind of music. So, after the Sonic drop hits and we're like, all right, that's the show. Then it's just, SNL music till the end. I don't know. Something about that music just seems kind of like a funny way to be talking as the show ends or something. I don't know. It was probably too much.
I think I might even have something that's sort of like that. I'll find that for next week for you.
Okay, cool.
And I'll just start making it kind of like the Emmys. Just if you keep talking too long, I'll just make it louder and louder and louder until we can't hear you.
Right. That's what I was thinking, is that, it gets, yeah. Can you turn us down? You don't really have like a mixing board, really, do you?
Not really. I can just mute you though.
Yeah, it's not. I could get close. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. So what's up, guys? Obviously, it's good to see you. Glad you made it. I know the tickets are expensive in this economy, but it's good to see you all here. Boy, howdy. Do I not really have anything to talk about? I don't know, man. I don't even know how we're going to make it. We made it, 8-ish minutes so far? So that's a good start, because I haven't even really said anything. But boy, howdy.
4. It's been 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes. Even better. Not actually, but man, I don't know, man. We've been having these nice guests, and I got kind of used to it. It's like, oh, it's nice talking to guests, But then
we can book more guests. I'm up for
we're gonna have to, because I don't think I can do this too many more times. I mean, I could. I don't know. It'll just suck. It'll be bad. Well,
who'd be a great guest? Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
We should get Jeff on the show sometime.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty busy, but I'm sure it's doable. And it sounds like my roommate just left the house, so now I can start talking about what I really wanted to talk about, which is Callie, you guys. No, this is a complaint about me. This is not a complaint about Callie. It's a complaint about me. I'm too sensitive, and it's a problem. I gotta not be around other people because it's problem. Or better yet, grow. I could grow as a person, become less sensitive. That could be good. But I don't know. Callie has sensitive sense of smell, and anytime I cook literally anything, she throws all the fans on in the house and is like, "Can you put the fan on?" It's like I microwaved a meatball. It's like, Jesus Christ. And I don't know. I always take it personally, but I think like this is not, it's not her fault. It's fine. It's fine to have a sensitive sense of smell, whatever. Am I hoping she gets COVID and loses her sense of smell? No, that would be horrible. I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. But it would be convenient, wouldn't it, Kevin?
I mean, it would solve a problem for you. I can totally see the appeal to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd solve a problem for me for sure. But yeah, the thing is, like, it's just, I take it as a personal offense, that's the problem. You know, it's like, well, it's not a personal offense. It's someone else's, what do you call it? Need. There's a thing that's like, it's like accessibility kind of language. Oh, accommodation. It's someone else's accommodation. It has nothing to do with me, anything I'm doing. You know, it's about getting an accommodation. But the problem arises where we have this fan in our hallway. The whole house is basically an H shape, kind of, where there's a hallway that bisects, that's like the middle of the H, and then there's the kind of two main rooms, and the fan is in the hallway. And unlike the other fans in the house, this one just sounds awful and is really loud. And so she turns on that fan. And here's the thing about me. I also needed a combination, but I'm not as skilled at requesting or asserting for one. You know, I have a hard time with sounds. Apparently, I don't know if a lot of people don't know about this, don't know it's a thing. I didn't know about it until I was talking to this girl, and she was talking about this thing that she had called APD, auditory processing disorder, which makes it hard to tune out sounds. And kind of like you can't really focus on a sound. You kind of hear everything all at once. And so it makes it hard to tune in on anything, because a sound that's like down the hall, quiet or whatever, sounds just as loud as someone talking to you in the same room. Like, I would work at Borders and I would be helping a customer and they'd be talking and I like literally couldn't hear them, because I can hear like someone like 3 aisles down having a normal volume conversation. And for whatever reason, that just like, it sounds the exact same like level to me, and I can't like, and it's not like I can hear all of them at once, but then my brain's like interpreting all of them at once. It's like I'm listening. It's like 2 people are talking directly to me, as opposed to just like one person and then background noise, which is how most people process auditory audio. So when Callie, to accommodate her sense of smell, which again is reasonable, turns on a fan, this then like it makes me feel bad, because now I'm hearing this fucking fan that I don't want to hear. And it's really annoying and it's hard to deal with. And so but you know, I turn on noise canceling headphones and listen to podcasts. Like, you know, I turn on what I've been doing is I found out that you can find this stuff, Kevin, called brown noise, which is it's not the brown sound from like South Park or whatever. It doesn't make you shit, at least not yet. But it's like white noise that's better at tuning out kind of background noise. And that's actually not enough. But what I do is that's the kind of comedy you can appreciate here. But what I do is I put that on at like, say, 40%, and then at more like 70% I put actual music on. And if I was listening to either one on their own, I would still be able to hear, you know, the other stuff. But, you know, together I can't hear anything, or not really. It's finally tune outable. I actually can still hear even with that. But yeah, so it's a lot better. But, you know, that's me like non-destructively accommodating without having to like ask or do anything to anything else. And like simultaneously, a person who is smelling stuff all the time could plug their nose in a similar way, you know? So it's like my accommodations don't usually go up to the level of, you know, asking her to accommodate me, which I think I could, and I don't think she'd necessarily be mad at. But, you know, that's kind of how I tend to go about things. It's like, how can I solve this problem for myself without bothering anyone else? Whereas her thing's like, I'm just going to do this or ask you to do this.
Yeah, I'm the same way where like I discovered recently, like if you want to like cause my brain to just completely shut down, have a phone call next to me on speakerphone at like half volume. Where like I can't really understand what the other person is saying. So like all of my brain power goes to trying to figure out this like kind of, you know, talking where I can't really understand anything. Broken up every so often by the person next to me talking. You know, so like my brain just keeps getting thrown into a conversation that I'm only hearing half of. And then the other half, my whole brain is just trying to process what are these words because I can't understand anything. Like I don't know why, but I cannot focus on a single other thing until they're off the phone. Is that similar to what you're talking about?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's just like, and I don't know. When I was younger, I just thought it was like me being kind of nosy or gossipy or something, where it's like, oh, if someone's talking over there, it's like, oh, what's the juicy? But it's like, no, it's not. It just is happening, and I can't tune it out. I can't think. You know, it's even to the point where I'm a depressed person. You know, I'm anxious. I have a lot of negative self-talk and thoughts. And so, like, one of the ways to overwhelm my inner monologue is by having multiple sounds at once. Because if I get 3 channels of my brain occupied, suddenly I can't think about how much I hate myself or something, you know. So typically how I do that is by turning on some form of music and having the TV on, and then also playing some form of video game with its own sound. So it's like I'm focusing on the video game with my active brain. I'm picking up the TV and glancing over there occasionally, and then over the top of everything is just music, you know, and that can kind of calm me down. So that's like, that can be a good way, you know. That's actually why I started listening to podcasts, is because, you know, you can tune out a podcast, especially depending on like your headphones and stuff. Like, I don't know. I can't, like, sometimes my brain wanders when I'm just listening to headphone podcasts. But if I'm in my car, that's why I drive around so much, is because like in my car, it overtakes anything, you know. It's loud enough where it's like, it talks over my brain. And so like I started listening to podcasts because it was just a way to get the voice out of my head, like a way to stop like having these negative thoughts, because music wouldn't do it. Like I'd listen to music and I'd still just be like, oh, this music kicks ass and you're a piece of shit, aren't you? You know? But yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I've been trying to eat at home more and buy groceries and not eat out as much and cook. But then it's just like, like I said, I'm too sensitive. I get frustrated, and it's like, but I'm just trying to cook. I'm just trying to eat my thing, you know. And it doesn't. I don't know. And I guess I have a cat, and you know, she shits and vomits and stuff. So maybe it's part. You know, that's part of it, is that I'm just used to, like, yeah, in life there are smells, and they're not all pleasant. And you know, it's fine. I don't know.
Have you had a roommate before?
Yeah, my last roommate was Jackson Stewart. I think that's his name. Yeah. And he didn't cook. Like I didn't really cook either, because the kitchen fucking sucked shit. There's like no room to do anything. But we kind of just stayed out of each other's way. I didn't actually, it was a 1-bedroom and I didn't have a room. So I had kind of like about a third of the kind of living space, and then I kind of had this cabinet and a computer station and a bookshelf that kind of not formed a complete wall, but formed kind of like a cubicle style barrier. And then on the other side of that was like the living room with the couch and the coffee table and the TV. And so he would be over there all the time, but we would kind of just be separate, you know. He would just be playing video games or watching a movie and stuff. And one of his favorite activities was to be in his bedroom talking on the phone about producer stuff, because I think he's like a producer, like a movie producer. So, you know, he'd be like, you know, guy, we gotta get these fucking trucks or something. Like, it was like, I don't remember, but it always seemed really interesting stuff. You know, producers are such this mysterious thing in Hollywood, because they do so many different kind of varying tasks in a way, and the title is kind of nebulous. But yeah, for whatever reason, he was just off and out of the house, and when he was around, I was off and out of the house, and we kind of just, you know, didn't run into each other very much. But yeah, Callie stays home most of the time. And she doesn't have a car, so like she doesn't drive anywhere. If she needs a ride somewhere, she usually asks someone for a ride. So she lives most of her life in her house, and she gets deliveries and stuff. So she's just always here. And then she basically lives in the living room. She uses the living room a lot, and she's very loud. She's a loud person. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if she's loud on the podcast. I do know she's loud on the podcast. I can hear her through the walls. But it's not, it's hard to, it's like the noise is like so tough to me, but it's like, and again, that's unreasonable. I'm not going to go say like, hey, can you not be a loud person? Like, because it's fine. I think it's fine to be a loud person in your own house. It's fine. But it really grates on me. It's hard. But again, like I said, I accommodate myself, and I have the privilege of having a car and having money to afford gas and stuff. So, and whenever I get frustrated, I just leave the house, because it's like, now I don't have to deal with this. And that's, it's great. It's great when I'm not at home. I love not being in my house, and I love cooking. Those are the two things I love. I've been, like I said, I've been trying to cook. I don't know. It's been a while. Well, I didn't really buy a lot of meat, when I've been living on my own. We had meat at home, and I would cook with meat, raw meat and stuff relatively regularly, but I've been really out of practice. So I'm buying chicken, and I'm buying like ground beef and stuff, and trying to like get back up and knowing how to just kind of improvise cooking random shit, and it's been a lot of fun. I got a cast iron pan. I made some chicken. I made Alfredo sauce. Oh man, you ever make Alfredo sauce, Kevin?
I have. It's one of my favorite things to make. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like, I improvise. Like, I look at recipes, but then if I'm improvising, I don't like actively look up recipes. And so I was kind of just messing around. I cooked some mushrooms. No, I guess in this dish I didn't. I cooked garlic and onions to kind of soften them, and then without taking those out, I just kind of threw on a roux to make an Alfredo sauce. And maybe it's not Alfredo if it's a roux, I don't fucking know, but I made a roux, and boy, I used way too much flour, and it just started forming this like sticky like pancake dough kind of in the pan, and I was like, oh no, this is not what you want. So I threw in a bunch of milk, and I was throwing in water, and then it just looked like pancake dough in water, and I was like, this is ruined. This is so fucked. But I eventually got it to a nice consistency. But then I ended up having like 4 or 5 times as much sauce as I thought I would have. And I was like, now I got to use this up. So I've been making a lot of pasta lately to use up this Alfredo sauce. But it was good. It actually came out pretty well. I was impressed, because when I was looking at that like massive dough in the pan, I was like, I'm going to have to throw this out. This is completely fucked. But yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to make black bean. I've been trying to eat black bean burgers because they're cheap. Meat's so expensive nowadays. I'm sure there's cheaper ways to get meat. But when I get them at the store, it's like, it's expensive, or it seems expensive. I don't know. And then like black meat or black bean burgers, like from Morningstar, are cheaper. Maybe they're not, but they seem cheaper. And so I've been like cooking those and trying to make food out of those. What I figured out, Kevin, is I've been making hummus. I talked about making hummus, right? And it's good. Hummus is good. You should make your own hummus. I've talked about this before. It's easy to make. It's really good. It's better than any hummus I've bought at stores. It's better than hummus I get at restaurants. It's good. And if you make it for yourself, you can kind of make it the way you like it. So it's like, it's right for your taste buds and stuff. But what I've been doing is I heat up tortillas, and I put a little bit of hummus on there, and then I cut one of these black bean patties in half. I just microwave it, but in half it fits perfectly into like one of these street taco tortillas. And so it's like hummus and a black bean patty and a tortilla. It's really fucking good, and it's not a lot of calories, but when you eat like 4 or 5, it is. It starts adding up. But I've been just trying to make tacos. I'm grilling chicken and stuff. Well, not grilling. I don't know. Pan cooking. I don't know what you call it. I got to get steak and figure out how to make steaks. Do some searing and stuff. I don't know. You have an air fryer, Kevin?
I do. I use it a lot. Yes. What's your favorite air fryer thing?
I don't have an air fryer. I don't. Another problem I have is that there's not a lot of space in the kitchen. one of these days I'm going to actually take this fucking laptop and I'll show you guys the kitchen. It'll be quite the escalation in my war. But there's not a lot of space in the kitchen because it's entirely full of like Kelly stuff, and I cannot fit a air fryer. But I do have an Instant Pot that she managed to make space for. That's the thing, is that when I bring stuff up, she usually tries to help. I'm just a coward and I can't bring up any of my issues because I'm a piece of shit who is taught by passive aggressive parents to be passive aggressive until I implode and cry. But so they make this air fryer hood for the Instant Pot that like converts it into an air fryer. So I've been thinking about getting that because I think I could just fit that on top of the air fryer and not take up a lot of extra space. But boy, you know what makes smells is an air fryer.
Not as much as an actual deep fat fryer, though. You know, like I think that the niche that an air fryer fits is like if you want food at home that tastes like fast food, an air fryer is the best way to do it. You can take the cheapest frozen French fries or taquitos or any frozen food and microwave it until it's thawed and then throw it in the air fryer. And you'd swear you got it from like a good fast food place.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, I don't buy a lot of foods like that, but I've just seen like there's just a lot of different things you can do with it. Like you can air fry pepperonis. You can air fry little cubes of tofu to kind of get them a nice toasty crisp. You can air fry hot wings to make, wings. You can really do a lot with an air fryer. And then not to mention if you just buy like frozen oven fries or whatever, those are great in the air fryer. It's all stuff that I don't typically buy, but I'm really excited about the opportunity to do it with other stuff. But I just want to circle back to it's less smell than a deep fat fryer, which is a lot like saying a campfire has a lot of smoke, but what has more smoke is a house fire. It's like they're like it's like orders of magnitude different. But
do you have like a porch or a patio or something?
No, I do not. I've been thinking about trying to. I'm not thinking about. I've been kind of gaming out what it would be like if I had like a little like barbecue, like like this big. What am I? To the audience, this is about 18 inches in my hand. You can get these little squat charcoal grills. And then I was like, where'd I even do that? Like, I'd have to do it in the fucking sidewalk. Like, and then I'm sure I'd get arrested or something. But yeah, I don't grill too much. My dad had a grill, but even then we didn't use it that much. But, grilling, you really get a lot of good texture on meat and stuff. And my friend had a grill for a while, and it was good to grill stuff. We made grilled Spam. Fucking grilled Spam's the best. I wonder if you can air fry Spam. I'm sure you can. I got to do that. All right, I think I'm sold on this idea. Yeah, I think I'm going to get an air fryer hood and air fry Spam. That sounds really good. Man, Spam is so good, but you got to cook the shit out of it. But okay, so talk me through all the stuff that you've made in your air fryer. Every single thing.
I mean, the most common thing is like when me and Arrow get hungry at like 2 a.m, I'll just throw together like kind of an assortment, like if you get like the appetizer assortment at a bar or something.
Sampler platter.
Yeah. I'll just throw some French fries in, some taquitos, some little like pizza rolls, just anything like that I can find frozen in a bag. I've even done burritos. I've done, just anything from the freezer. You thaw it a little bit in the microwave, throw it in the air fryer, and it just tastes like home cooking from the bar,
Yeah. At the home bar. No. So that's, you're just doing more frozen stuff then. You're not really integrating it into real recipes and stuff.
No. I also have like a real deep fat fryer. And if I'm actually trying to do something that requires a little bit more crispness or, a real meal or something, I'll use that instead. The disadvantage of the real fryer is just it takes half an hour to warm up. And, if you're wanting a quick snack, that's way too long.
And also the oil. How are you disposing of the oil?
So the one I have has this little thing where you turn a knob and it drains it into this storage thing and filters it as it's draining it. It waits for it to cool off, opens up a valve, runs it through a filter, and puts it into this little storage thing. And then next time you want to cook with it, you just dump it back into the fryer and use it again until you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So that works pretty well. You can probably reuse the same oil 5-10 times before you start to taste the last few things you cooked.
And then what do you do? Do you throw it out? Like, because you're not supposed to just throw it down the sink, right? Like, what do you put it in the trash?
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere, so we have a septic system here. So yeah, dumping it down the drain would be pretty bad. I just throw it back into like a gallon jug and then throw it away. I'm sure there's something better you could do with it. Someone should like write into us and tell us what to do with old oil, because I don't know. I mean, you can use it as diesel fuel if you filter it and things like that. But I'm talking more culinary. I'm sure there's something you can do with old oil, but right now, no.
Yeah, I saw online there's this powder that they make that'll seize up oil and turn it into like a more of a like a jello or like a harder texture, which grease usually solidifies on its own, but oil itself is like liquid at room temp, so it doesn't. But this powder, it turns it into like more of a chunk, and then you can just put that in the trash. I mean, obviously that's not a culinary use or anything, but one time I made chicken karage at the house, and I mean, that really did smell up the house for like a day and a half. And, again, I don't mind, because it's just, it just smells like food. It's food. It's not like it smells like shit.
Yeah, like one of the things I recently made was like fish and chips, and it smelled like fish in our kitchen for a week afterwards. It was good, but I'm tired of smelling fish after the first day. Yeah,
fish is not a great smell. But fish I get. I don't know. It's all, the thing is, it's all reasonable. It's just, I'm sensitive. I'm a little bitch baby. We gotta deal with it. It could be a podcast. Here's a podcast, is that I take a recorder to a therapy session. I think that's probably fine, right?
I think so. I was going to say maybe a future episode, you and Callie should come on the show together, and we have a therapist come on and help you to work out your living situation live.
Yeah, for sure. Because if there was a therapist, I could actually just talk about the stuff. I wouldn't, because part of the problem is I don't know when to approach it, or I'm not feeling up to it. It's like, okay, so Callie is playing Final Fantasy 14. I'm going to walk up to her and say, "Hey, Callie, I've been having this problem. Do you want to work through it right now?" It's like, it's hard to pick a moment, which again is not on her, it's on me. But
is it easier for you if you like write it down and just send her an email or something?
That would be easier, but I also feel like I don't want to do that. Like I'm less interested in doing that,
Does it not scratch an itch to like, resolve an issue that way, or?
No, I don't know. That just, when I think of that, that seems more scary. It seems more confrontational and negative to me, or like passive aggressive, maybe.
I feel like if you went to her though and said, "Hey, Callie, like I have trouble bringing up my issues with you, and they kind of fester and they build up over time. I don't want that kind of relationship with you. Would it be okay if when I had an issue, I emailed you? I don't mean it to be like this massive confrontation. I just don't like the face-to-face thing." I think that would maybe help.
Yeah, but if I could do that, then I wouldn't have to in the first place.
True.
Yeah. Well, we might not have a counselor, but we do have the freaking scary doctor in the house. Isn't that right, Kevin? Isn't there a scary doctor online too?
Hello, I'm here to help you with your issues, Spencer. Tell me about your family.
Well, I just have this dark hallway,
Does it remind you of something from your childhood?
I can't understand you. All right. Okay, that was a bad idea. It was a good attempt. I will say it was a good attempt because it was my idea. So yeah, I did a great job on that. We got to work out some of the kinks. But we're learning. But it's not just a scary doctor in the house. We also have a robot online too. We got Laughbot 2000, the comedy robot. Laughbot, are you here? Wow, you can hear me. Can you guys hear that?
It's Crisp is not letting it through because it doesn't think it's talking. I don't think we can do it.
I'm hearing my voice pumped through the robot. Like, that's not intentional behavior, right?
No, I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah, I was hearing
troubleshoot this and come back to
stuff.
it. Well, yeah. Well, next week we'll have LaughBot.
Right, we don't have LaughBot. He's not working. He's malfunctioning. He freaking downloaded a virus. Remember when that was funny? And we don't have the scary doctor. But this has been a lot of fun. But we do actually have another guest. I can't remember the other effects on the. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Next week I'll have a way of making it. Yeah, I use this thing called Crisp that like filters out all the background noise and anything that doesn't sound like speech, so that I can have my air conditioner going and people being loud outside and things like that. But it's incorrectly determining that the robot voice is not a human, so it's not letting you hear it.
Well, it is correctly determining that. Like, it's not a human. It's Laughobot 2000 or whatever the fuck we said. Who cares? This sucks. So Kevin, when you were a kid, did you have any dreams or aspirations?
I really wanted to be an astronaut up until I realized the amount of like physical work there was into that, and then I totally lost. I saw the movie. Did you ever watch the movie Space Camp?
No. What was it about?
So it was about, so there is at least there was a real thing called Space Camp where kids could go to NASA and learn kind of over the summer to be astronauts. It was not real, but like you learned, like you sat in a space shuttle and you went through some of the training and you met astronauts and things like that. So
yeah, you could win a trip to that from like Nickelodeon game shows. A lot of time that was like the grand prize.
Yes. So that's how I heard about it. So the movie kind of takes the weird premise of like, okay, so they needed to do like this engine test, a real engine test of the space shuttle on the pad where they lit the engines up, but they just didn't actually let the space shuttle go. And they thought, hey, what would be funnier if we put the kids from Space Camp in the shuttle while we were doing this test? And oops, accidentally the space shuttle launches. And so this space shuttle full of children are up in space, and the NASA has to like teach them how to get them back down again. To me, this was the coolest movie ever. Like, I watched Space Camp probably 100 times because I so badly wanted that to happen. And yeah, so that was my first real dream, was to be an astronaut.
Yeah, that's another one of these movies that when I'm hearing about it, I'm learning, oh, this is yet another movie that formed the plot of untold numbers of cartoon show episodes. There's like I'm sure there was a Scooby-Doo that I think was about that. There was certainly the SpongeBob episode where Sandy's building a rocket ship and SpongeBob and Patrick get into it. But it's all over the place in cartoons, and anytime there's like one of those tropes that's repeated and repeated and repeated in cartoons, it always turns out, oh, that was some fucking movie and it was just being copied a million times, or if not a movie, Shakespeare or something. But that's interesting. So when did you stop? When did the dream die?
When I dug a little bit more into it and like was trying to convince my parents, hey, send me to Space Camp, because I was crossing my fingers that the same accident would happen to me. They were like, if Space Camp is one thing, but if you actually want to become an astronaut, like, it's grueling. Like, you have to be physically fit. You have to go through, pretty much they're almost all in the Air Force. So you'd have to join the Air Force if you wanted to go do this. And I very quickly realized that was not for me. I was the scrawniest, skinniest little kid you've ever imagined. I weighed like under 100 pounds in high school. I was tiny. And I just
was it high school age when that happened?
No, this was younger than that even. Okay. Like, this was like junior high age, and then also too, in junior high, we had an astronaut come to school to like give us this talk about, follow your dreams and nothing, just vague encouragement. And I randomly got picked to be the one like to show him around school and help him with his presentation and everything. And I like just harassed this poor guy so much. And he also convinced me too that I was probably not right for it. But that was my dream. Did you have any kind of dreams like this?
Yeah, but just real quickly, I don't know. You know what's funny is to podcast and then tell stories you heard on other podcasts that are other people's stories. But apparently Griffin Newman of Blank Check, he had a time where he was at Space Camp, and he was also a really light boy. really underweight, and there's this like climbing thing or some sort of harness that you get into to like climb a rope to the ceiling. I don't know. It was a harness that like holds you up. Maybe it was like a 0G harness to keep you like floating or to be simulating moon gravity or something. But it was rated for a higher weight than him, and also apparently it was just not functional. Like there was a malfunction with the system at some point, and so he got in, and it just shot him up to the ceiling, like the winch where the top of this thing is. And then because it was broken, like it couldn't you couldn't be let down. So he had to kind of like in reverse, like pull himself down because he was like so high up that there was like, they couldn't get him. They didn't have the tools to like access him. So, you know, maybe that could have happened to you. That could have been interesting.
That would have been my own space camp. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is like space camp, isn't it? And then I don't know. In space camp, did they do the Apollo 13 thing where they lay out like a sock and a duct tape on the table and stuff?
No, nothing like that. They had this like smart robot that like told them what to do. Like I don't know. It was a crazy 80s movie. You know, Joaquin Phoenix.
Of course it was. There was a robot in it.
Yeah.
Who was it the star of it?
Joaquin Phoenix and Leah Thompson, and yeah.
Wow. Man, old movies were the fucking best. That was before they like quote knew what they were doing, and as a result, like everything just like kicked ass, or it was like a fantastic flop, but it was like amazing on that level. Nowadays, like everything is like so refined, you know, like this is a boring, you know, this is like kids these days and inflation and stuff. But whatever. It's weird. It would be nice to have been able to work in the industry in those days where everything was just insane. But yeah, no, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an inventor. Well, I think before I wanted to be an inventor, I wanted to be a quote gene splicer, quote, which has never really been a job. But a genetic engineer, that's what it was. But you know, now there's all this CRISPR stuff, and now it kind of is a little bit of job, but not in the way like that I imagine. Because I imagine like, I want to crossbreed a dog and a cat with genetic engineering and make a freaking cat dog sort of thing. Like I wanted to make crazy like monster alien stuff using genetic engineering, which is like, you know, a crazy sci-fi concept. I don't even know what kind of, probably just Marvel or something, you know, like comic books. I don't know like where I got the idea that could be a thing. But then I wanted to be an inventor, but there's not really a job that's an inventor. You know, you can be an entrepreneur with things that you've invented, but it's not like no one's going to pay you to be an inventor. You're just like a guy in a garage, more or less. You know, I guess there's product designers and product developers, but the dream died before I can like connect those dots to the real world. Then after that, I wanted to be a scientist. Because Bill Nye was a science guy, and I wanted to be like him. And Bill Nye was awesome. He knew all the different science and stuff. And then at some point, this I found out way later, probably in like middle school, high school or something, that you can't just be a scientist. You have to be like a specific field. And I just wanted to do all of it. Like I still am like that. Like I don't like the idea of specializing. I'd much rather just have like a holistic and learn like every discipline you can, you know. I really like, you know, having a wide, vast array of knowledge, and the idea that it's like, oh no, you're going to be a chemical biologist or an organic chemist, or you know, a material engineer or something. It's like, well, that's not what I want. And then you start to learn that a lot of it's just like iterative testing and stuff. Like for a chemical engineer, you might just like run a program that's like, it makes a robot arm squirt juice into a test tube like a million times, you know, and then like the computer says match detected, and you're like, holy shit, you know. And it's like that, just, it's not, you know, like in Bill Nye, he would do the experiments, you know. I wanted to be doing experiments, hands-on science and stuff. And it's, you know, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of, I don't know. And so that I kind of fell off of that. The most realistic thing I had was, for a while I was thinking about trying to write and be a writer of some sort, because I always liked writing, and I always thought I was good at it, and people usually validated my writing in school, you know. Like I don't know if those were my best grades, but whenever we read stuff in class or whenever people would grade my stuff, like everyone would seem super impressed for whatever reason. One of my biggest accomplishments is we had this thing where we had to read a book by a foreign author, like an author who's like in Germany or something, and then do a book report on it. And I just didn't, because it's like there wasn't any structure for picking the book, so I never picked the book, and then just I forgot about it. And then it was like, okay, time to write your in class essays about the book. And I was like, oh no. And what I did was I outlined a book. I just made it up, and wrote an outline, character, story, problems and stuff. And then I just started writing the report based on that outline. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy it's about the darkness, and that's why when he saw the candle, and then he saw the candle at midnight, then it was like, oh my God, this is the hope. This is the hope, and this symbolizes my dreams, And so like, I just completely bullshitted a book, completely bullshitted the book report or whatever, and I got like one of the highest grades in the class, and it was awesome. I don't have that essay anymore, but I kept it for a long time because I was really proud of being able to pull that off. But then that dream died when it's like, and look at me now. But that dream died when it's when I was like, well, you're not just going to be hired to be a writer. You have to like write a book, sell the book, do publicity for the book, pick another book, and then write that. You're just there's no security. Like, I just want to clock in and do a job, and with security, and not worry about selling myself and being an entrepreneur. I don't really have the self-esteem to do it. But again, yeah, that's where I am fucking now. And now I have a fucking Patreon where I write for my Patreon. I'm like, oh, go to my Patreon. And it sucks. I hate it. And I don't promote it very much. I have a Patreon, you guys. I do D&D content. I also do food reviews. The food reviews go up on my YouTube. I've been making them public because if I just release them on Patreon, no one watches them, and I'd rather people watch them than keep them kind of Patreon exclusive. But if you like the food reviews, please support me on Patreon. I don't know. I want to do other stuff too. I'd like to do cooking content, but again, I don't think it could happen in my kitchen just because it's a mess. It's not that it's a mess. There's just no functional space. Even if it was clean, there wouldn't be good camera angles and stuff, So, but I like cooking a lot. I stream on Twitch, and I think it would be cool to like do cooking streams and stuff on Twitch, especially if I'm just doing random shit. Like, it would have been so funny to have like a stream of me making the fucking Alfredo sauce. It's like, Jesus Christ, it looks like a fucking onion cookie in a pan. Like, but yeah. So, but it just, yeah. So I never wanted to get into writing because I was like, well, there's not anything. Even if you're like a columnist and stuff, you kind of got to pull together enough columns per unit time to make a living. Even if you work like as a specific, for a columnist for like a magazine or something. Magazines don't even fucking exist anymore. But, you would still have to make supplemental income by doing other stuff, like doing bit articles, And the going rates for articles fucking sucks. Like, I want to say it has been in the ballpark of 100. It probably used to be higher. But now with all this like BuzzFeed content and stuff, a lot of stuff, it pays like $25. And so, I don't know. I don't know if you guys look and you see articles that are written by The Hill and stuff, and it looks like someone just summarized 2 paragraphs of some other article, and then you scroll to the bottom and it's like, yeah, no, this was taken from this real article from a real person that got real paid, and I just wrote 7 sentences. And it's like, why is it going so poorly? It's like, yeah, because they paid $25 for that or something. And so the only way to make a living is if you're like, I'm going to write 24 articles for 3 different sites. They're going to be the same thing, and they're all going to be copied from other things. And that'll make, $300, $600 or whatever the fuck. But, look at me now. I'm working in Hollywood, and, I would be doing a lot better if I was better at this entrepreneurial stuff and had self-esteem. In Hollywood, I don't know if you know about this, Kevin, but you have to be kind of a sociopath. You have to be kind of crazy and have unearned confidence to kind of get anywhere, because people just respond to that. If you have unearned confidence, people just assume you know what you're doing, and they don't have a good enough eye for detail to then like notice like, oh no, this is bad. He seems so confident, but his work is actually bad. They'll just be like, I mean, this is fine. I don't know. So like, but I don't have that. It's really annoying. I wish I had that on some levels. I think I would be a worse person if I had that, but I'd probably be more successful. But like a lot of my problems writing comes from like a lack of my belief in myself, or I'll write something and I'll be like, this sucks, and I'll just put it away instead of trying to like work on it more and stuff. You know, I don't know. It's a real bummer. But I would love to. I'd love to work in TV more. You know, it's a lot of fun to work on a TV show and stuff. Even just as an assistant or something, it was a lot of fun. You know, being in like this group, and it's like it's a finite group because people come and go, or the show can die, or whatever. But you know, you're all working on the same thing. You all have your different specializations. I don't know. It's just a really fun environment to work on a team and stuff. It's a lot different than other businesses that I've worked in before, like retail and data entry and stuff. You know. I don't know.
One thing I think I mean, so I don't work in Hollywood, obviously, and I don't, you know, I'm kind of an outsider to all of this. One thing I kind of
just
feel
like Donald Trump.
Yes. And I know this comes across as being really kind of catty, but I feel like on the average TV show or movie, half the people there have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They're just faking it. And the other half are the ones who are actually pulling their weight. But the people who are faking it tend to be the more famous and successful ones, because the actual skill in Hollywood is faking it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that I don't know about those ratios, and I think even when you are faking it, you can do real work. I don't know if it's pulling the weight of the show, but I think it goes somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. My friend Ryan Kunkelman, we've been making like Patreon videos together. I think he's called a digital effects technician on most of his jobs, where he has like this tech cart that collates feeds from all the different cameras, and it goes into his monitors, and he can apply spontaneous color correction and visual, like very basic visual effects. So, you know, one of the things that cameras do is they take a lot of light in, they get a lot of light information, and then that gets stripped down by the color correction process. If you just have the camera not taking in all that color information, you have a lot less to work with. When you look at that uncolor corrected footage, it looks really washed out and strange, because that's just how I guess the computer processes when you have all that light information. But then you apply these filters and stuff, and it starts to look really cinematic and interesting. But you know, you can't see that without a digital effects technician. And he has been really involved in the creative process that the DP, director of photography, like they work pretty closely together, because they're looking at the camera and they're often looking at the monitors too, you know, to see what they're looking at and see what it looks like, to see if they're doing a good job or they want to adjust anything. And so he will do creative work by applying his own ideas of color corrections. And if he has like a stylistic idea, like, oh, what if we did this in sepia tone? What if we did it in black and white? What if we like made the darks really dark to make it like this harsh kind of effect, this kind of severe lighting effect? You know, he will like do these ideas and show it to the DP, and the DP will be like, yeah, that looks fucking great. And then those DPs, their shows look really good, and then they get hired to do bigger and better things, and then they never thank him, they never like go like want to work with him again and stuff, because they're just on to a next bigger project, and then they'll take the next bigger DP or whatever, you know. And he said that one of the most frustrating things, I don't know that I should be talking about this too much, but he said there was a time where he worked with a DP, and he on his own with other crew members was like, we're talking about like an effect to put on a shot, and then they were like dialing it in and talking to each other, giving notes to each other and stuff on like what was working, what wasn't, and it ended up looking really good. And in an interview, the DP on that show was being interviewed for that show. They just told this story where it's like, oh, I had this great idea. My vision was for it to look like this. And it's like, that had nothing, like you were literally not involved in that decision at all. And you act like you tell this story about how it came to you, and it was such a brilliant idea, and it was so lucky that it worked out as good as you hoped it would. It's like, no, that wasn't you at all. That was Ryan, and he doesn't get any credit, you know. And so, yeah, I think when you're good at your job, you can cover for a lot of people that are bad at their jobs, and they get the credit, you know. And the most extreme example of this is networks, you know, network executives. they get to give bad notes all day. And just to be clear, I've only had good network executives. Like, this isn't me covering my ass. Like, I feel like I've been very lucky. I haven't worked very much, obviously, but a lot of the network notes I've got have been really smart and have made me think about the project in a different way, and I've been very grateful for them. It's nice to have people who actually understand creative stuff, like, to bounce off of and give notes and stuff. But it's just, as we see so much shit that gets made, and it's like, this passes through a network and stuff. But, network executives are the ultimate example of this. Like, an entire crew goes and makes this incredible show. And then, in the back rooms, like, Mr. Netflix is like, "You've done it again, Johnson. You keep bringing in gold." It's like, he had nothing to do with the production, you give a couple notes here and there, and all, maybe those are good, maybe they're bad, but it's like, it doesn't create the product. So yeah, I think, just it's celebrity, it's celebrity. It's kind of like toxic masculinity. It's old boy networks. It's gatekeeping and kind of this like caste system of like influence and who is good and who is bad and stuff. And it forms this really, toxic kind of situation where no one gets the credit they deserve. And also, I don't know, I've been a showrunner on Harmonquest and stuff, and I've had a lot of decisions that I made. And so when I think of my narrative of the show, it's like, what decisions did I make that resulted in this? But even that just erases, like, no, the color artist was like, I think cobalt blue would be really good, And so it's not that I didn't want it to be like a cobalt blue. It's that they do all this legwork to present you with stuff. And you're like, yeah, no, that's the best option. But, you did 5 options and you liked all of them. And you maybe wanted the cobalt blue the most. But it's like, it kind of gets crushed down just when you kind of are talking about your own path through it, which is only, one person's path. Every single person you talk to or interview is going to have their own story just like that, where they're the kind of center of it too, but yeah, I don't know.
Were there any points while you were making Harmonquest where, someone came up to you with an idea and you were just like, no, that's terrible. Why do you even have this job?
No, I try to be really gracious. And it's the same thing. Like part of not wanting to go, and complain to Callie and stuff is like, I feel bad about making anyone feel bad, or the idea that someone might be made to feel bad, even about something that's super normal. So I would never give like a negative note like that. I would always be like, that's good, I like this and that, but what about this and that, and I would try and make it collaborative. And that's, I don't know, I had to learn that really quick, actually, because in season 1 I had to start dealing with people, including people that could have kind of strong personalities and strong opinions on stuff. And it's like, well, I'm not like that, so you're more equipped to argue in this space than I do. So how am I going to maneuver? And how I maneuver is having a lot of specifics that are like, well, I want this, and why I want this is because of this, and this. So it's not like your idea is bad. It's just the reason I want this instead is because I have this intention that to me is important for, making this work and stuff. I will say that again, I like the network. I have no problems with them, but we got some bad notes from on the network and stuff, like which I don't know. They aren't bad ideas. It's just once you actually try them, they don't work. But since the executive's not there to see the process, then you kind of just have to say like no. Or if you, God forbid, show them the thing that doesn't work and they go, well, I like that. It's like, oh no, we're fucked. Now I got to do that. But there was a time where Tampa Bay, Carl Tart on the 3rd season played a character called Tampa Bay the Buccaneer, and so the network had to know, oh, what if his color scheme was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers color scheme, which is like Halloween colors, and so it would have been like black and orange, and it just looked really bad on the character design and stuff. And so it's like, I get where the note comes from, but also I don't even need to see that to know that that's going to look like shit. It's just going to look really bad. And then we did mock it up, because that's the thing. It's like, again, we're not going to show it to them, but we're at least going to to see it. We're going to go through the motions because we owe them that much at least, and then sometimes they'll have edit notes like that or joke pitches like that. And it's like, when you do this, it just doesn't work. But we'll at least look at it to give it the old college try. We know it's not going to work, but we're going to do our due diligence. And so, yeah, that was like that. That happened a lot. That's the thing that I kind of noticed working with them. We kind of had a language to it because, like, how we would edit the show was we would start with the recording. It's a weird way to make the show. Obviously, we start with the live taping, right? And then once we had the live taping, we would have to decide what parts were animated. And so when a part was animated, we'd put a black screen over the picture, so you couldn't actually see the people looking and talking and stuff, because it's like that's going to be fitted in with animation. And then we'll get the thumbnails, which are the basic step of animation. We'll put in the thumbnails, and then we'll have thumbnails. But before we got on the thumbnails, we would have to deliver the cut with these black boxes over the animation or over the live footage. And we'd always get these notes that were like, it would be so funny to see Jeff laughing when he said this. And it's like, no, it's going to be animated, and it'll be so funny to see the cartoon character of Jeff laughing as he says this. It's like, and if you actually looked at the footage, it wouldn't work as footage. Sometimes there were constructions, so it wouldn't like actually sound or look like it sounded because it was like an edit, like an audio edit. Or sometimes Jeff would just be looking straight down when he sounds like he's like really mugging to the camera or something. So it's like, we're doing this for a reason. We're not just like hiding the gold from the fucking network executives, but they would be all like, yeah, why don't we see this moment? And we would call those black box notes. And what they would kind of come down to is like, sometimes the network didn't have the imagination to see what was possible. They could only see what was in front of them and not think about it too hard and go, oh, this is a funny joke. I'm looking at a black box right now. Wouldn't it be funny if I wasn't looking at a black box? It's like, yeah, no, we're going to animate it. We're going to make a really funny visual cartoon joke, and it'll be fine. But because of the pipeline, we have to deliver the black box, And so we called those black box notes. And, that's like, if we can just calm them down and get to the next phase, suddenly they'll get it because they'll actually be able to see something. But at this point, it's like, we can't just say, just trust us. And we can't say, you have no vision, like you have no imagination. But that was kind of the problem. But it's a very interesting thing. I've been developing other stuff, and that note can kind of come up too a little bit. But
do you think that was from, some kind of desire just to give you any kind of feedback, good or, useful or not, so they could feel useful? Or was it a case of that you were spending 40, 50 hours a week on this and they were spending 20 minutes, so they didn't have the same insight as you? Where did that disconnect come from?
Well, I think that part of it is, we spent so much more time with it. We know what it's like. We agonize over making this cut, and so we know what's behind the box, But another part is just like I said, I think it's just they can't see it. Because we again have from working all this time on it, we have this intention that comes into play. We have this plan, even before we start putting in the black boxes. It's like, oh, this would be so funny if Bone Weevil was juggling while he was on a unicycle or whatever, And so we have this kind of idea, but we can't write that on the black box. I guess we could, but we never thought to do that. So, we have all these plans that we're not talking about because it's not the stage to talk about this stuff. And because they can't see that, they're just seeing nothing. But I do think it's I don't know. Part of the reasons why we work in animation is because we're good at thinking like that, good at imagining visual gags and stuff. So I also just got to imagine it's more of our skill set than it is the executives who maybe do a lot of different stuff. But yeah, I don't know. You want to wait, hold on. Let me think of a really bad segue. But what the executives definitely have a lot of, good things to see, good notes on, is soda. This sucks. God damn it, dude. You gotta get guests.
That was a great segue. I loved it.
No, it was great that it was so bad. I'll give you that. I liked how bad it was. Sometimes it's so cheesy and bad that they're good. But I don't know if I guess we should start with this. I have a Patreon subscriber, person for the Discord. Her name is Joelle, I believe. I could be getting that wrong. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? But she sent us like a metric ton because she's from like a different country that uses the metric system. I want to say Britain, but I'm not sure. Maybe Scotland. I don't know. I don't think it's whatever. Fuck it. But she sent us like a lot, like a heavy sack of candy, and she also sent us Irn Bru. So I was thinking we could start with this Irn Bru. You ever have Irn Bru, Kevin?
I have. I actually enjoy it.
I enjoy it too. I notice when I've had stuff before, I'm worse at describing it. Just because it's not like hitting me for the first time. Let's look at this. One of the things to note about it is it has aspartame in it. It has sugar, but it does have aspartame, and that comes through in the flavor for sure. Irn Bru. Is there a description of it? Can you pull up like a description or a flavor profile or something? If you don't know, Irn Bru is it Scottish or is it British? I want to say it's Scottish.
Scottish. It is Scottish.
Yeah. It's like one of the famed drinks of Scotland. Do Scottish people like Scotch eggs, or is that just a name? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like Scotch eggs, but I don't know. Is it something they talk about, or is it like deep dish pizza or something?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's named that because it actually did at one point have this like microscopic trace amount of ammonium ferric citrate, which has a little bit of iron in it, and the idea was supposed to be that the iron in it was supposed to make you strong and tough, and Yeah,
it still has that ammonium ferric citrate in it. So I guess there you go. And also there's these things, I don't know. I've just been thinking about this all week. Is there something called like an iron fish or something? It's like a fish made of iron that you put in like a pot for water, or you put it in like a water thing to like add iron to the water. So when you drink it, you get like iron supplements. I don't know. Maybe next week we could do a deep dive on the dreaded iron fish. But all right, I guess since we both tried it, I'll just go first with this Irn Bru. Let's see what happens. Now it's a 500 milliliter container. Do you know how many fluid ounces that is?
That 16 ounces.
16
about
ounces. 16.9 or 16?
16.91.
Oh, Abby's texting me. We gotta have Abby on the podcast again. Everyone loves Abby. Okay, so scent wise, there's this like, as you start to drink it, there's this kind of cotton candy scent note a little bit, that kind of really vague, airy sweetness. I don't know what that is. It's not really in the flavor profile at all. And then you get hit with a light kind of orange flavor. And, like you said, it's like there's this metallic flavor. I guess that's the ammonium ferric citrate. But yeah, it has this kind of metal flavor. It's kind of like drinking a metal soda, but it's like an iron metal soda, and then it's got aspartame. I don't know. What about you? Are you going to drink it, or are you reading something? Okay.
I was just reading. It is currently the most popular soft drink in Scotland, with Coke being second.
Jeez. I mean, I know I'm American, but I do like Coke more than this.
I do too, but I mean, I would drink this. I'm just not sure. Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. I feel like if this was just put in front of me every day, though, I would be drinking it more often.
Yeah, no, I really like it. It's so interesting because I would want to see what it would be like without aspartame, just because I don't really like aspartame. It's gross. Like, artificial sweeteners are kind of gross, and people just deal with them. I don't know. Some people say they like them more, but I don't buy it.
Yeah, it used to be sweeter. So a few years ago, the UK passed this sugary drinks tax. So they lowered the sugar content in this and replaced it with aspartame to get around that, to make it cheaper than other soft drinks. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually had this, but I remember it being a little sweeter. Not much though.
Yeah, I do really like it. I think there's something really compelling about the orange with the kind of with that iron taste. Like it makes it really unique. It makes it way off base of what like an orange soda. You know, it tastes nothing like Fanta, even though it has the shared kind of orange note. It's really good. You know, I don't know. I knew it was going to be good.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it. It contains a source of phenalyneline. Phenalyneline.
That's the aspartame. Yeah.
Phenalyneline. Aspartame contains phenylalanine. I guess phenalyneline might be something else, but I always thought there was phenalyneline. Phenalyneline. That's the name of the podcast. That's the episode title is phenalyneline. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this for later. But I wanted to try this first because if it was bad, which I knew I liked it, I don't know what I was expecting it to be bad. But Kevin, you also sent you sent our studio Mountain Dew Typhoon. How did you get this? Where did it come from?
A friend of mine this used to be in stores. They used to be able to buy this years ago. And
yeah, it was in the Mountain Dew 2 Democracy 2, I believe.
Right. And then they pulled it because it was a limited time thing. And they did one more run recently. And a friend of mine who has hookups for drinks was able to get me a few cases of this.
Damn. We gotta get. I've still fucking. I've talked about this on Twitter, I guess, but I keep entering the fucking Summer Baja contest. I still haven't won. I've entered 4 times. I have another pack of sodas to enter tomorrow when it's Monday. It starts the new week because you can enter once a week. And yeah, I don't know how many times I'm gonna keep entering, but it's fucking. They made a whole soda. They made a whole flavor of soda that's a reward for winning the prize. How can you do that? You make a whole product, you're not going to sell it to anybody? Like, at least sell like on a one day or sell it online like they did the fucking spicy, the Cheetos flavored Mountain Dew. I don't know. It's crazy. Have you?
I have a feeling they're going to do some kind of okay, we heard you. You all want it, so here we're going to make it available to you. Not right away.
If enough people know, but yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's just like, I don't think I don't know. I don't feel like this contest is in the cultural consciousness very much, Certainly no democracy.
Even if it's not, I could still see them saying that, though.
Yeah. In Mountain Dews, I heard that Mountain Dew renewed a patent or renewed a trademark for Pitch Black Mountain Dew, which is their grape flavored. They usually brought it out around Halloween. So that could relate to the secret flavor, or it could just mean they're going to roll it out sometime soon. Either way, really exciting news. Have you had this one before, though?
Back when it first came out, yes. But this apparently is a slightly different recipe this time. It's not exactly the same.
I got you. Smells like fruit punch, which is great. Fucking Hawaiian punch is so good. I actually got... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it does. It smells just like Hawaiian punch, I think.
Yeah, at the convenience store I was at pretty recently, they sell like the Summer Baja flavors, which I need for the fucking contest. They had this thing. It looked like a red Cactus Cooler, and I was like, oh, there's a different flavor of Cactus Cooler, and I got it, but it wasn't Cactus Cooler. It ended up just being like fruit punch but carbonated, and it was so fucking good, dude. That's the problem with Hawaiian punch, is not carbonated, but it's still really good. Anyway, let's see what this is like, huh?
Okay, Spencer's trying it. He's swishing it around in his mouth like a sommelier. Oh, he looks surprised.
So I want to say it's really good, but like the latest after note on it, like the last note it hits you like after you swallow, is like this weird off note. I want to see if I can get that again, just because it's so weird. But yeah, it tastes like a mildish. It's a lot milder of a fruit punch than like Hawaiian punch, for instance. And then it has some of the dew that brings in tanginess, which tanginess is a really good addition to fruit punch. I think that's something that's missing from fruit punch. Ideally you want it to have like a bit of tang, like a strawberry kind of cherry style tang. So the Mountain Dew is kind of a welcome, but then the rest of it seems a bit mellower than I would like, but it is really nice other than that flavor. You want to try it?
Yeah.
So Kevin is trying it. Yeah, I got the
aftertaste. It's got this almost, I would say, a grape aftertaste, maybe like a artificial grape, not a real grape. Like a knockoff grape soda at the end. But yeah, it tastes like Hawaiian Punch with some kind of aftertaste.
Yeah, so I think you're right on the grape, but it's like, and I think this is part of that grape note, but something about that grape note to me is wrong. Like what I'm imagining in my head is like a grape that someone takes and then they scrape on a sidewalk, so kind of the top of the grape is like shaved off. I don't know. It's like part grape and part like there's just something stuck to the grape or something. I think it's definitely part of that note. Maybe it's the way the flavors all combine. It's pretty solid, but I'm pretty sure in this democracy it lost out to Whiteout, which is like a squirt style kind of Mountain Dew, and Whiteout definitely deserved to win. And it did. So yeah, I can see why this lost, but it's not bad. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, this is drinkable. I would totally drink these if it was, available.
Yeah. Yeah, what is that note though? It tastes kind of, I want to say it's dusty. Like not dusty. Sometimes I use dusty to describe a texture, but it kind of like has like a kind of stale dust taste or something. Anyway, it's good though. Kevin, I think you sent me 6 of these Tall Boy cans. And
yes.
Oh boy. I didn't touch them because I wanted to have an organic live review on the show, but I am glad that I have extras because I'm gonna be drinking these. It'll be great. What happens if you go back for the Irn Bru? Yeah.
Okay, so Spencer's now opening the Irn Bru.
Yeah.
Struggling a little bit with it.
Yeah, because the first time the kind of ring, it just came off with the cap, and this time it actually separated, so.
No, he's not happy. He is not happy.
The aspartame really kills you in the wake of like a full sugar Mountain Dew. How much sugar's in this? 230. That's actually, I think, a little less because I don't know. I can't do the math. I always think of no, that's more. Okay. Oh my god. And you never thought it would happen to you, you always, it's all fun and games until the fucking Sonic music comes for you. Oh boy. In the Sonic movie, there's a moment where Sonic drowns, and my one note with the whole fucking movie is they should have had this drowning music in that scene. It was actually a really touching moment. I think it honestly would have ruined the emotional beat for the music to be in there, but it was such a missed opportunity. There was actually a couple points where he kind of there's like 2 beats of him drowning, and I think in the first beat, I think you probably could have done something with the music, but I gotta believe they tried something like that and it didn't work or something, just because it's so obvious. Like, how could you not go for that?
I don't know. I feel like the people who made the Sonic movie had never played the games at all.
Yeah,
at all. Yeah. They read the Wikipedia article and went, okay, we'll throw some coins in, and that's it. That's all what they want.
I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but I really do like the Sonic movies a lot. I think that's fair criticism, but I just love them so much. I don't even know why.
Oh, they're good movies.
They're the most successful video game movies ever made. I think Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are like 1 and 2 in terms of like the charts of video game movies. But we are out of time, folks. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/thesixler. Please support me. This is my primary job. We don't have any stuff for I don't make money off the podcast. We just do that. I am trying to design. I've been fucking on Photoshop, and we're not only going to use these designs, but I've been on photoshopping my own designs because I don't know any artists. I have to make my own fucking t-shirt designs, but I'm designing my own t-shirts that are assuredly going to be horse shit, so we can sell them, podcast t-shirts to sell for money. But other than that, Patreon's my main job. So yeah, if you want to support me, you can do that. If you don't want to support me, that's fine. I totally get it. I should get a real job. Well, I'm just a crumb bum essentially at this point. But yeah, I also stream on twitch.tv/thesixler. That's kind of my side gig. You can give me money on that also if you want, but I get a bigger take of the money. It's more efficient to give me money on the Patreon than it is on Twitch. Twitch takes like 25 to 50% of the money. But yeah, it's fun. I play video games. I'm not good at streaming. I'm not entertaining, but I am me. So if you want to see me ranting about politics and saying stuff to a smaller audience that I don't feel comfortable saying to a larger audience, Twitch is where to go. Yeah, that'll do it for me. What about you, Kevin?
So if you're listening to this as the podcast, every Sunday at schwabhomevideo.com,
fuck, we were going to talk about that. Fuck.
We'll talk about it next week. It's fine. We do this live thing of lots of shows. The one that's coming up next, I can't talk about on the show because we're not supposed to be showing this. So if you're not watching us live on schwabhomevideo.com, you're missing out. But then after that, we have Real Life Sci-Fi, and we're re-showing one of the favorite found craps from Rob Schraub. So check that out and come join us on Sundays.
Yeah, like Kevin said, we're playing something directly after this show that was deemed too sexy for television. So if you want to get a piece of that action, before it's taken down by the fucking woke liberal police. Liberals hate porn, right? That's the thing, is they don't like porn.
Notoriously. Yes.
The conservatives are like, these liberals, they don't want us to be doing porn. Anyway. But yeah, well, like what I was saying, like I talked over Kevin, we were going to really explain what Schwab Home Video was. It would be good because, you kind of created it. So that would be a good topic of discussion. But what's better than that is me complaining about my roommate and just talking about food for a fucking hour. But, that's our show, folks. Stay tuned for stuff. I don't know. And until next time, we like to end the show the same way, always, every single time. So, as always, ask, not, just don't ask.
Don't tell.
Starburns Audio.